Hey everyone, I'm Ricky Fox, and as you know, Google I.O. was a couple weeks ago, and one of the biggest announcements that they made at Google I.O. was the announcement of the introduction of Android M and the release of the Android M developer preview. The developer preview is important because it gives developers the chance to test out the new version of Android before Google actually releases it, and they can fix out the bugs and optimize the software and whatnot. So let's get right into it. 6 categories are mentioned at Google I.O. Permissions, web experience, app linking, mobile payments, fingerprint scanner, and power and charging. So let's start with app permissions. When you install an app, you're usually greeted with this page, this thing that tells you this app has access to microphone, camera, all kinds of things. As it turns out, Android won't be asking you for these permissions anymore when you install an app on the Play Store. Instead, as you use the app, it'll ask you individually for permission for microphone, for permission for camera roll, for permission for camera, for permission for Bluetooth, for permission for contacts, just like iPhone does actually. iPhone does that whenever you install an app. It asks you for each individual permission as you go using them. Just remember that apps need to be updated by the developers so they can take advantage of the new adoption of permissions that Android M is setting. Web experiences is next, and what they were talking about was that when you open an application, for example, they used Pinterest, so if you open a Pinterest page and you click on something, it'll take you to a link right into Chrome, but it uses a page of Chrome that's already integrated into Pinterest. So it doesn't leave the app to take you to the website. It'll actually make a new layer of a Chrome tab, and it'll put it right over the app. So you don't have to leave the app, and you don't have to be adding all these unnecessary tabs to your Chrome. So let me ask you a question. How sick are you of seeing this when you're trying to open an app, or trying to open a tweet, or trying to open a link, or trying to open a YouTube video? Like, I already know what I'm opening. Just open it where it's supposed to be. It's not. And what's the first thing it always asks you? Should I open it in Chrome? Should I open it in YouTube? No. If it's an app link, should I open it in Chrome? Should I open it in Play Store? It should always be open. So what they're going to do is they're going to verify the application links. So when you click on a link, the servers know that it's supposed to be opened to YouTube, for example. So if you click on a tweet, the servers will tell Android that it's a tweet, and it'll automatically open in Twitter without asking you for these. It's not going to simplify every single thing, but it's gonna be easier for the user to pick an application. What else was announced was Android Pay. Now, I just see this as a re-announcement or relaunch of Google Wallet. Now, Google Wallets existed for many years before Apple Pay. So I see Android Pay replacing Google Wallet in the future. So one of the features that Android Pay was announcing was that when you use your phone to pay, they use the Coke rewards. So they had a vending machine with Coke. So when you tapped your phone and you had a Coke rewards loyalty card already installed on or saved onto your Android Pay, I guess Android Wallet, I don't know what they would call it now, it would automatically apply that rewards card to the charge. So you automatically don't have to do it every time. So if you go to Walgreens, for example, and they ask you for your wellness card, you would just tap the terminal and it would automatically apply the loyalty card. Along with the announcement of Android Pay, they also announced official fingerprint security standardization from Android. So instead of each manufacturer doing their own thing with fingerprints like Samsung and HTC and Motorola have done before, I'm talking about Motorola a long time ago, but anyway, who else has fingerprints? I think not that many. The standardization of the fingerprint will let more applications use the fingerprint. I think we'll see a fingerprint in the next Nexus, actually. With the announcement of Android M and fingerprint sensors, I think we'll definitely see a fingerprint sensor in the next Nexus. This is my favorite announcement. This is my favorite. Android M, they announced Doze. Now, what Doze does is it detects that your phone is not being used or dormant, uses the motion sensors to see when your phone is moving around or not moving around. And what it does is, instead of constantly syncing and constantly receiving emails at the second you get them, so you won't immediately get all those junk emails that come in when your phone's not being used or overnight or anything, It's kind of, I think it's kind of like Sony's stamina mode, where it prioritizes the applications that are most used to wake up, like text messages and phone calls and Hangouts. And it's just integrated into the system. So hopefully it's not a second Project Volta where that didn't go anywhere. at all? Yeah, so they mentioned that they had an Android M developer preview Nexus 9, and they had a Nexus 9 on 5.1.1, and they mentioned that standby time was twice as long on the Android M developer preview Nexus 9. Now, this is for Wi-Fi devices, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be a little bit different on a cellular device, because it always needs to be connected to the tower. So they've actually approved that the Nexus 5 lasted a lot longer on the Android M developer preview. So you guys can look at that and see how much longer it lasted. I think it was about the same, double the battery life than the Nexus 5 on a Lollipop. So part of power and charging, they announced USB Type-C. So what they did was they showed a USB Type-C connection, and just like how Android had the camera mode or disk mode, you can choose the mode you're going to use when you connect the USB-C adapter. I think we might see this on our next Nexus too. Why else would they be announcing it? It's going to be in the next Nexus. Some of the random features included improved text selection. So instead of the little toolbar that has copy, paste, cut, instead of it being on top, it'll be right where you're highlighting the text. When you touch and you go forward, it selects word by word, but when you go back, it selects letter by letter. So it's a little bit more fine-tuned for easier selection. Direct share, which will learn who you contact most frequently. So when you share a picture, it'll show you that contact and which apps you most frequently share things with, which everybody freaked out about. I guess it's a big deal. And improved volume controls, which everybody flipped their crap when they saw this. So volume controls on Lollipop were horrendous. They tried to fix it, and it was, I don't know what they did with it. So, you know, you can tap volume all the way down, and it'll go into silent mode instead of having to do that blocking mode, priority mode, switching thing that people were confused by. So that's it for me. I'm Ricky Fox. If you found this video informative, go ahead and click that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right here. And follow me on Twitter right over here at Ricky Fox Tech. And I will see you guys next time.